All right, welcome to the deep dive. We've got a ton of practice questions you all have sent in for the VMware Certified Professional Cloud Foundation 2024 exam, and specifically the 2V0-11.25. So instead of kind of slogging through mountains of documentation, we thought, hey, why don't we just use these questions as our launch pad? It'll be like the express route, right, to understanding some of the really essential pieces of VMware Cloud Foundation.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And the questions you've sent in are uh, really, really good. They're targeted. So our mission is to unpack the core concepts behind VMware Cloud Foundation that these questions highlight. Really give you that aha moment without the information overload, Elspeth.
Exactly. So let's just jump right in. The first question throws us right into a troubleshooting scenario. Imagine this. You're deploying VMware Cloud Foundation, and then bam, the NSXT manager deployment just fails. So what is the absolute first thing you should check?
Well, the first thing you got to check right off the bat are those deployment prerequisites. IP and DNS settings, they need to be spot on. It might seem obvious, but you'd be surprised how often those basic network configurations can trip people up.
Right, right.
It's like, imagine a doctor trying to diagnose a really complex illness without even checking your basic vital signs first. You got to make sure those fundamentals are rock solid before you go digging into anything else.
It was so true. It's like you're so eager to get everything up and running, you just want to jump in, but taking that extra moment to double check, that's the pro move.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're going to save yourself so much time and frustration down the road. Our practice question actually mentions this. It says, verify deployment prerequisites to avoid unnecessary troubleshooting. Think of how much time you could waste trying to figure out what went wrong, digging through logs and everything, when it turns out it was just a simple typo in an IP address or something.
Ugh, the worst.
Yeah.
Okay, so this brings up a good point. We're talking about NSXT, and for someone who's not maybe deep into network virtualization, what exactly does that NSXT manager do? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So think of the NSXT manager as the brains of your software-defined network. It's the central control plane. It's where you configure and manage all your network virtualization components, like your logical switches, your routers, firewalls, the whole shebang. Without the NSXT manager up and running, you don't have the network fabric. And without that fabric, well, VMware Cloud Foundation just can't do its thing.
Got it.
So it's pretty darn important.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to question number 2. Now, this one focuses on the SDDC manager. This tool is key. And the question is, which 2 actions are performed by SDDC manager in VMware Cloud Foundation? And the correct answers are deploying a new workload domain and automating the creation and management of vSphere clusters. So what does that tell us about the SDDC manager's role? It sounds like a lot. It is a lot. I mean, this question highlights the level of orchestration that SDDC manager brings to the table. That whole thing about deploying a new workload domain, that's all about simplifying resource provisioning. Think of it like this. You need a new set of resources: compute, storage, network for your applications. Instead of manually piecing it all together, SDDC Manager does the heavy lifting. It streamlines the entire process of setting up those domains, and it makes ongoing management a breeze.
So SDDC manager is like the maestro, right? Conducting this whole orchestra of resources.
Exactly. It's like you give SDDC Manager the sheet music, and it makes sure all the instruments are playing in harmony.
Nice. And then the second part, automating the creation and management of vSphere clusters.
Right.
That just emphasizes this central control aspect, right? It's not just about deploying them, it's about the whole life cycle, like creating, expanding, updating, basically keeping those clusters humming along smoothly.
Exactly. It takes so much off your plate. I mean, think about all the manual steps that used to be involved. With SDDC Manager, it's all automated. Less room for human error, more consistency, and it frees you up to focus on the bigger picture.
Okay, so big takeaway here. SDDC Manager is like the automation engine of your Cloud Foundation environment, making everything run so much more smoothly.
You got it.
All right, next question. Shifting gears a bit here, we're moving into security. Now the question asks, which component within VMware Cloud Foundation manages certificates across all its different solutions? So we're talking about certificates which, in the digital world are like digital passports, right? They verify identity and ensure secure communication. And the answer here is the VMware Certificate Authority, or VMCA. The VMCA. Yeah, it's super important. I mean, in a complex environment like VMware Cloud Foundation, you got all these different components, vSphere, NSXT, all talking to each other. They need to trust each other, and that's where certificates come in. vSAN. Think of the VMCA as the central authority that issues and manages all these digital passports so everyone knows who's who and the communication stays secure.
Right. So it's about establishing that chain of trust.
Yeah.
And having a central authority like VMCA, that just simplifies everything, right? No more juggling individual certificates across a bunch of systems. It's like having one master key for all your digital locks.
Exactly. And a master key that's also really good at managing itself. Expired or misconfigured certificates are a huge security risk. But with VMCA, you've got this built-in system that keeps things tidy, reduces the risk of those vulnerabilities, and makes audits a lot easier.
Huge win for security.
Huge. Okay. Question number 4 takes us back to the planning stages. Let's say you're setting up a new VMware Cloud Foundation deployment. You're configuring the management domain, which is like the foundational layer. The question asks about a critical requirement: the minimum number of ESXi hosts you need for this management domain, and the answer is 4. Why is that number so important? What's the logic there?
The logic is redundancy and stability. You see, the management domain is where all the critical management components live: vCenter Server, NSXT Manager, SDDC Manager itself. Having at least 4 ESXi hosts gives you enough resources to ensure that these vital components have the horsepower they need and that the whole system is resilient. If one host goes down, you're still covered.
Okay, so it's like building a house with a strong foundation. You wouldn't want to build a skyscraper on shaky ground. You need that solid base.
Exactly. And, it's not just about handling failures. It also allows for smoother operations. Think about upgrades. With 4 hosts, you can perform rolling upgrades of your management components without having to take the entire environment offline. That's crucial for minimizing disruption.
That's a really good point. So 4 hosts ensures that the brain of your cloud environment can keep on ticking no matter what, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Our final question dives into high availability and disaster recovery, specifically for those workload domains we were talking about earlier. The question is, which feature within VMware Cloud Foundation is key to ensuring HA and DR for these workload domains? And the answer is vSAN Stretched Cluster. Now, that sounds pretty sophisticated.
It is. You see, VL-Stretched Cluster is all about keeping your applications running even when things go wrong. It does this by distributing your workload domain, the compute, the storage, the network, across 2 physically separate locations. So you've got this built-in redundancy. If one location goes down, the other one can take over.
Yeah.
Like a backup generator kicking in during a power outage.
Got it. So it's about having that insurance policy in place, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just about failover. It's about doing it seamlessly. With vSAN Stretched Cluster, data is constantly being replicated between the 2 sites. So if there's a failure, the switchover happens automatically, and there's minimal data loss. Your applications just keep on running.
That is slick.
It is pretty slick. It's like magic, almost.
Yeah. And that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
See you next time.